with some of the issues that have been raised. And those who will...
Don't you worry. I have a throwback to show you. And it was from the Honey of Ife, who was also raising an alarm, pretending to be concerned. Please take the message and ignore the messenger, please, if you can.
We are the architect of our problems. We are. We just keep talking. We haven't faced that fact that we are the problem of this nation. All of us, let us tell ourselves the truth. Let's redesign the fundamental structure of this country. Devolution of powers. Why should we make the president of Nigeria, the governor, presidency so powerful? The EFCC chairman innocently said something here that he will go after the presidency, he will go after the judiciary, he will go after the legislative arm. I will be praying for you. I will be praying for you. I will pray and fast for you. Some people have been there before you. Let's be truthful. How did they end? They tried to do some certain things. Maybe they're listening to their leaders and their masters that put them there. I will pray for you. I mean it too. Yorubas will say we need to do more abusari for you. It's not easy. He has spoken very, very wonderfully well that he wants to make a mark. But a lot of people will misread him that you, after putting you there, you want to go after us. When are we going to grow in this country? When? We all sit down and talk. There is problem in Nigeria. So corruption is everywhere. Don't let us deceive ourselves. Our leaders will so much be successful in private sector. They will gather lots and lots of hundreds of millions to go and do PR for them to get political appointments. What are they going to go and do when they get there? They will steal. That's what they will do, because the system has made that kind of portfolio and office to be very attractive. Let us make laws. Let us review our constitution and let us stop deceiving ourselves. It is very few impact our leaders can make. If we know that we cannot make much impact, we will keep talking. We will keep talking every year and things will continue to get worse. Because the population is growing very rapidly. An average Nigerian now is a 20-year-old. 20 years of age, between 18 and 20 years. That's the average Nigerian age now. So what are you going to tell those coming generation? If we continue, if we don't really look inwardly and change the structure. And the governors, if we don't do this, we are in trouble in Nigeria. We will continue to talk. You will continue to feed fat and continue to bring corruption to the table of our religious leaders. It's a problem. It's a bad culture. Let us change it and let us talk to ourselves. If we want this country to grow, let us go back to our local communities. Charity begins at home. Everything starts from somewhere. We cannot survive with what we have in Nigeria now. It's not possible. Anybody that says we will survive with it, let that person come out. It's a lie. Even if you are the genius of this world, it's not possible. Let us change the structure of this country. But if you say with what we have right now, the lie, it's a white lie. Nothing can change. If you are a leader, do what is just and right. You are a servant. Stop amassing wealth. What do you want to use it for? You want to continue oppressing people? Someday they will face you. We don't pray for that to happen in Nigeria. God bless our entire country, and God bless all of us, and God bless our... Yes.
Boko Haram, make a combo fight. If you are not combo fight, we will not go come up for years. So make a combo fight, make it finish. Allahu Akbar. I think and I say and I get power. Make a combo fight. If we not fight, we will not go. If we not fight, we will not go. Allahu Akbar.
No more peaceful protests again now, because peaceful protests know they work. Yes, peaceful protests, you know they work. More turn out to one man, more enter so scatter everywhere. More shook, waiting no good. More no.
Anarchy loans. Anarchy loans.
See, I told you. there are so many things that we have seen Oni do that we believe all of this have brought disrepute to that stool. And as a proper Yorubas, right, it's a shame. And the majority, some of us we no longer look at him the same again. That's why I said, listen, okay, ignore the messenger. Everything we in here and there is part of them. Oh. You get them? Honey is part of them. I mean, honey. Man, I will go. This what do you call it? This generation of Yorubas and others, right? They are not really falling for all those myths anymore. So you really have to earn. You really have to earn it before we can really kind of hold it for you. So the honey of Ife, deliver the message there sincerely, and they'll come for you. The most interesting part for me was when he said, well, if you think we are just talking and talking, we keep talking and nothing will be, it's okay. But when they come for you, I just let the word be the judge. I spoke out to the honey. I'm talking about what happened in SARS. This one was in Abuja. If you remember, it's a flashback where the supposed Secret Service working for the senators used their official vehicle to go mobilize the thugs that they actually paid to go and attack peaceful protesters in Abuja. This video will everly remain golden.
People supporting the talk. See them. See talks, they go listen to. Talks go in Tamboto. See talks go in Tamboto with them. See the security people. See them. They don't come back the talks. They don't come back the truck. See them.
There were videos where police in Abuja, they were using their trucks to bring in thugs, and they camped them somewhere and they were paying them money. Police in their uniform with thugs. And then they told them to go. Now, go. And this one started stoning people protesting. Like you are protesting. NSAS. And from nowhere, you see another group of people. And they started stoning you from the behind. Why are you stoning us? Police, they are stoning us. Just to disrupt it. Then the next, the police will just come, shoot tear gas. Po. They know the thugs, okay? The thugs will be moving towards you. While you are running away from police shooting you, the thugs will be like, anybody where they meet, they will beat you, even kill you if they have to. Government that should provide law and order. That government is now the one sponsoring violence and disorderliness. We've seen it happen many times, and they are the ones screaming right now, shouting about, oh, you want to burn Nigeria. Who want to burn Nigeria than these rogues? Who? I don't know if this happened before or after Rats visited the National Assembly, the Senate. But this is now an exchange between Akpabiole and Bawandele over the time they should go for recess or not. They have been working so hard, they need to go on recess. Now, this exchanges happened between them this afternoon.
A short break to come back and reconsider the votes and proceedings of the Senate.
Well, Mr. President and very distinguished colleagues, let me most humbly and most respectfully, on behalf of the Senate Committee on Finance, apologize to both the President and our distinguished colleagues.
Distinguished Senate Leader, please, let's proceed as directed by the Senate President. We move a motion for us to suspend other items on the paper and proceed on recess so that we can come back and consider what we have done here. Is that the view of the Senate?
Mr. President.
Those in support of what the Senate President has said, can you say aye? Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Please proceed as directed by the Senate. Don't go into that, please.
Mr. President, may I respectfully just request that you listen to the chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance upon your ruling.
Distinguished colleagues, is it the view of the Senate that we go on recess to come back and consider the votes and proceedings? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Distinguished Senator Mongunu, can you move a motion in line with the Senate decision? Move a motion in line with the Senate decision, please. We go on a recess. Move a motion in line with the Senate decision.
But this is your function now. Why should I do your function?
Thank you. Let me say this.
Okay, Mr. President, distinguished senators. Huh?
Yes, proceed in line with the Senate decision.
It's for us to go on short recess.
Yes, Senator Olare.
Mr. President, he has not moved any motion to be seconded.
Yes, he has moved a motion.
No, sir, we don't need the motion. It's past 3. It's for you to just.
Okay. Distinguished colleagues, in line with the decision of the Senate leader, looking into our rules, this Senate is hereby adjourned till 4:30. Clerk, will 4:30 be appropriate, or do we look at 5? Huh? We will try. So the Senate is hereby adjourned to 4:30 p.m. To reconvene to look at the votes and proceedings of the day.
Nuisance, Lele.
Those are the people making decisions for Nigeria, Jare, the Nigerian Senate. I don't know if that happened before or after, but that happened. Ish. Meanwhile, to those of you in Nigeria dealing with high inflation, businessmen, businesswomen, the new announcement of the Central Bank of Nigeria is that they would have to increase the interest rate again. But this time around, it's just like 0.50%, like from 30, it was actually 26.25. That's figure. 26.25 interest rate is now up to 26.25 rather, 26.25 to 26.75%. I was expecting this to come up in September, but they have kind of announced it in July. Maybe they get another one for you in September. That is if they will have the chance of making that announcement. Explaining that, so who care to listen? Oduduwa Emefiole, Kadobi, here, tell us the new interest rate. Because they say as inflation goes up, they will have to increase interest. Zimbabwe, here we come.
The committee's decisions on the rates. The committee's decisions are as follows. Raise the MPR by 50 basis points to 26.75% from 26.25%. From 26.75% from 26.25%. Adjusted the asymmetric corridor around the MPR from plus 100 to minus 300 to plus 500 to 100 basis points. Retain the cash reserve ratio of deposit money banks at 45% and merchant banks at 14%, and retain the liquidity ratio at 30%. Okay, now to your question, which is a very valid question, and I think you're probably referring to a an earlier submission, I think it was probably at a business day seminar, I believe, where I said, and really I merely reiterated a position I've always held on to, and that is that as policymakers, indeed specifically as financial and economic policy makers, it is very important that we bear in mind the impact of our policies on the man on the street, on the average man on the street. And why did I say this? Because many times as people in finance, economics, some could be criticized for living in a bubble and being completely disconnected with what happens outside. And from my perspective as a policymaker, that is a failure. Ultimately, if we're doing all the things we're doing and we're not able to impact the man on the street, ultimately, then what do we really say we've been doing? And I think sometimes when people look at figures too often, they may lose track of that. And that is why I said what I said, that it is so important that we continue to bear that in mind, that our policies must ultimately impact the man on the street. I hear you about the issues you've referred to, Nancy, but I think to adequately address that, it's maybe important to cast our minds back, okay, and ask ourselves, how did we get to where we are today? Okay, how did we get to where we are today? How did we get to a position where the central bank is using the policies that you say you are wondering whether they are having their impact? Now, let's not forget that over a period of time, we've had an economy and have failed to diversify that economy. We would argue that the Nigerian economy has basically been a monolithic one in which we've more or less depended on one source of revenue. Now, of course, a monolithic economy has its own risks. And part of those risks, of course, is that if anything happens to your dependency, then the whole system gets shaken. And I guess in many respects, that's part of what we're going through. Part of it, it's not all, it's certainly part of it. Because let's not forget there are global headwinds as well. So it's part of it. And that going forward, we must ensure that we are able to craft policies that are sustainable, okay, and will bring a sustainable method of development for our people. There's no point in policies that are ad hoc and don't really take us to where we want to get to in the long term. Because in the business of policy crafting, we must have the long term in view. You don't have the long term in view, you end up paying for it later. So that's where I was coming from. And that such policies, of course, must take into consideration
nuisance lele.
Una don't enter am. I would have possibly allowed the video to continue, but I bet some of you are just because you have no idea what he's saying. That's exactly why he's your central bank governor. You don't have to understand what he's saying. You just have to feel it. And I bet a lot of you are feeling their monetary policies, right? Inflation is over 40% officially. Interest rate is nearly 27%. Okay, officially. Your import tariff as well, they have been increased 5 times this year alone. Your naira is falling. And Kadobi is still your central bank governor. If you have people who can explain better what it means to be under the people that have like F you up, seriously, that is the description. When these guys are done, Not only that you won't understand what they are saying, you are likely not going to even understand yourself anymore. You won't. If you let them do what they intend to do, or if you let them complete what they are doing to you. Just so you know, just thought I should put that on the side. Here is what the Nigerian army did in Owa Omama in Imo State yesterday, to the point that they were using bomb, right? They were detonating bombs. When I say bomb, maybe not big bomb, right? But you know that one that on top waiting, hopeless thing back. The reason why I'm showing you this video is just to show to you what it looks like. The act of terrorism that Nigeria is actually carrying out in the eastern part of Nigeria by the Nigerian army, by the Nigerian DSS, Nigerian police, especially the army. War weapons, war weapons, bullets that they should be using at war. They are shooting them at civilian properties, civilian homes. Watch this.
All life on direct. Omega no more magic. Omega no more magic. One near care rocket direct. Yeah, one day John neighbor. Oh, na mani ka para no budai. Ah, so wa nda baka shalo budai. Nda baka shalo budai. Ama ki bembo she bia. Nda baka shalo budai. Oh. Leman. Oh man, dinhe. Não cobrei ho. Não cobrei ho.
Jesus. Não te garua. Não te encontrei no chão obra. Não te chão obra. Jesus. Não tem gozo. Oh, this thing just happen now. No. Chineke na mo. Na que papa. Jesus. No gozi. Hey. Papa ga kwa wo. Jesus Christ.
Nazareth.
Look at the effort. Can't even sit at home. Jesus. Nobody. Jesus. Oh. Jesus. Hey. I don't want to sit at home. Look at the effort. Okay, somebody shut your shit. I'm sorry. Somebody shut. Hey. That's a woman.
Umele wu metri zun le gudi ha baga kan bu kutu anwo la ma anwo ni mo ha kan like this na nda chifu shi chana ni mo ha le ha baga kan bu kutu umele wu metri zun ne pe anu wo ni mo ho ama wo ki ha na eme
Within ulo mana wona legode ulo mana boy legode dem ulo mana ulo mana kayge yo kon legode henda ni na bo ay legode ay boy legode lo get dem ulo ge boy ay boy legode tendem ulo ge boy de pe no na cheese ay look at le go mana boy le kula tra hono ma bara isa boy na chino everything na chino ko machine na chino ko jera to hono no ko le pendo le machine no ko life le go di le ko je na no ko everything
all life on that.
And according to them, they are looking for IPOB, they are looking for ESN, they are attacking people in their homes. They are using anti-aircraft ammunition. They are throwing in explosives into buildings. They are chasing people away from their communities simply because Hopeless Uzotingba wants a Ruga. He wants their land. Yeah, he collected over 10 billion naira from Bokwari. Remember, over 10 billion naira was given to him to provide land for the Fulanis in Imo State. They put together a team of criminals. They call them Ebubeagu. And their only job is to look around for anyone or everyone that identify with IPOB or whoever they don't like. Just say the IPOB. And the Nigerian military can come around and level the village. This is the silent massacre going on in eastern Nigeria that you read in the papers that they call unknown gunmen, unknown this and unknown that. There are other factors too. But why would the governor be comfortable that the Nigerian military, who actually issued them all these ammunitions, by the way, do they go back and give account and say, okay, we shot anti-aircraft bullets at civilians' homes, and this is the number of how many of them we fired at them? Like, do they give account of all these ammunitions? It is what Nigeria is, unfortunately, and it's almost not, you know, some what we are witnessing